Thank you, Carlos Maza and Vox. You thought you were silencing opinions you don't agree with, but instead, you have made the proponents of reasonable thought more powerful than you could ever think. You have exposed for everyone to see what the legacy media stands for: full control of the narrative and the spread of false information. This has been coming for a while now. Society went in a completely different direction in 2016, and the legacy media refused to accept this. On the surface, they claim to be progressive and inclusive, when, in actuality, they are regressive, discriminatory, and propagandistic. There are two factors driving the access media's fear of the growth of so many YouTube channels, whose only crime is implementing rational thought to deconstruct the falsehood of contemporary mainstream narratives. Narratives that, while claiming to fight hatred, merely seek to perpetuate it. They claim to be for freedom of the press, but this only applies to them, and anybody that doesn't fall in line must be silenced. These false narratives find their root in extreme arrogance, the belief that they are right, and anything that does not fall in line with their inherently flawed worldview must be silenced. They have carefully manufactured self-representations over the years, even decades, and any challenge to this incites fear. And just like any animal in the wild, they are most dangerous when they are threatened and on the verge of extinction. They cannot change these views because one of their greatest fears is excommunication from their peers, to be shunned by their own self-constructed echo chambers. They are deliberately blind to any other side of any argument because it threatens their chosen position based upon ideological constructs that do not reflect the reality of society in the way any sane and rational freethinker could recognize. They see the world as it exists around them, and not in the way they are told it exists. When free speech ends, or is controlled to a point that it might as well not exist, we have lost our freedom. The self-constructed image is only part of the problem. Legacy media are dinosaurs, only a few years away from non-existence. The writing was on the wall when Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web and gave it freely to humanity. The final nail in the coffin was the advent of social media, and platforms like YouTube grew at an exponential rate. From that point on, they no longer held an absolute monopoly over the control of public opinion, and their constructive narratives began to crumble. Their greatest fear became reality. Normal people now had a voice, and they grew in popularity to the point that they now eclipse legacy media. People started to see that things were not as they had been told for years, and this led to anger, even rage. The Voxadpocalypse is merely legacy media's most recent method of pushing back. They are terrified. Unfortunately, this time, we see it for what it is. They are weaponizing established narratives as a desperate attempt to censor and silence not only opposing viewpoints, but their competition, which has already won the battle. They cannot reasonably argue our opinions, so their only recourse is to call us sexists, racists, transphobic, or homophobic, or whatever ist or phobic they can muster up this week. Anybody that watches our content should be able to see that we are anything but these things. If anything, we are the side that is truly all-inclusive. We argue against what you say and do. We don't malign you based upon birth characteristics that you can't control. All opinions are welcome, and we are welcome to deconstruct and criticize them. But the cat is out of the bag. You cannot be de-red-pilled. Once you have been exposed to the way things truly are, then most people will not go back to the blue pill. If our side of the argument is ever fully deplatformed, the result will be anger. The far left will have done to themselves what they feared most. This is where I speak to all non-corporate YouTubers and independent thinkers. Now they are coming after our side and seek to remove our means of making an income or arguing against their narratives on the larger platforms. They seek to minimize our presence and push us to the periphery. While they will come for the other side of the argument first, they are in a fight for their lives, and non-corporate YouTubers that share their view are also their direct competition. Their focus is not just the ideology that they have staked their entire existence on, but also their economic viability, which is at an end. You are the competition. They want eyes on them, and them alone. You are not welcome, and it is a foregone conclusion that they will eventually seek to silence you as well. Because of this, all independent YouTubers must take a stand, regardless of what side of the argument you fall upon. Do not give outlets like Vox 1 cent of your money. Say what you believe. We will continue to criticize your arguments, and you are always welcome to debate and counter. For some time now, I have had an unofficial policy on this channel, which I am now making an official policy. The focus of my ire is public personalities, the entertainment industry, legacy news outlets, and corporate YouTube accounts. I do not seek to go after or deplatform other independent YouTubers that don't share my point of view, even those that make hate videos dedicated to me. We are in a fight for our very existence. The freedom to say what we believe. When we seek to silence the opposing viewpoint, then all we really do is invalidate our own arguments, and then we become the same as the legacy media that we all despise. I encourage all other independent YouTubers, regardless of size or ideological position, to take a stand. We will not be silenced, and we will not bow to corporate interests. This does not mean that I'm going to be any less vicious in my regular videos. If anything, I'm going to be more vicious and angrier than ever. This channel is not going anywhere, and I will continue to fight to the bitter end. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is deleting subscribers, and follow me on Twitter. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.